All right, hi, this is Celestin. Uh, Today we are going to talk about circulatory system, the heart matter. And so when we say circulatory system, we're talking about a process by which the entire tissues of the body get supplied oxygen to reach very cells that are responsible for cellular respiration. Let's look at the model. So over here is just a model of the heart. Okay, that tells us about the heart and the entire body of now a human being that gets supplied blood from the head to the toe. Blood is supplied, right, using blood vessels. Okay, so blood vessels transport blood from the engine, which is the heart. And so to make sure that blood gets to every cell of the body, around the tissues that need them. For what purpose? For purpose of cellular respiration, which is just a process by which oxygen is used to break down glucose so that we get energy in form of ATP and then a byproduct of water, okay, and again carbon dioxide, which is a byproduct that is a waste that get transported out as we exhale. So today we're just going to look at briefly the structure of the heart and how this amazing engine do supply blood around the body. All right, so the heart matter. So what we're talking about here, so it looks a bit complex when we are looking at the structure of the heart and then again the function of the heart. So but we want to piece it together using a simplified drawing or sketching so that we'll be able to see how the heart, okay, does its work, okay, by using the entire structure that is within it to move blood away, okay, from the heart to the entire system, and again receive blood going around. So today, typically we're going to look at a human being as example, and we are looking at the human heart as having what we call 4 chambers, okay, undergoing what we call double circulation that moves blood to the lung, which we call pulmonary circulation, and the circulation that goes to the entire tissues of the body, which is the head and the entire body part, which is called the systemic. Let's dive into the structure and let's see if we can make it a bit simple. Just follow me. So I'm going to use 3 colors here. So I might decide to start from anywhere, but again telling the story of how indeed blood gets into the heart. So I might just start by looking at how the structure of the heart is. I might start from this point. Over here, I am aware that blood gets supplied through this, and again this way, and then again I will say this way, and then again move again, I will say this way, return this way, and I might create something like this, and then again say returning this way. I have pipe, have another pipe, and again back. All right, so I mean not just like a perfect drawing, but we'll look at it this way. Let's say this is the heart. So I've made some kind of sketching here that's telling a story, and then over here I will just close this because this one goes down, and again it comes out this way. Yeah, so I would want to use this. How I would want to use this. Yeah, and then again I just close it up this way, close it up this way, close it up this way, and close it up this way. So I've got a kind of an overview of what it is like. Over here, I would want to also note that within here and here, there is a demarcation here that comes over here, and over here it tapas this way, back to this, and then again another one over here, going this way. And you see that what I did here, I did it intentionally so that I will create this. That's at the middle. And in this middle, I would say that this one is thicker than this one. This is a thinner wall and this is a thicker wall. So over here, I'm looking at it. And when you're drawing anything in biology, you're facing it this way as if you are doing a dissection or you're operating upon someone. And then if you face this, my right hand becomes the left and my left hand becomes the right. So I would say that this place is the right, the left, and this place is the right. So that we don't get confused at all. Now, over here, what did I draw at the middle? This is what we call the septum. The septum divides the heart into the right and the left. Okay? So it divides the heart into the left and the right. All right. So again, what we're going to look at is here is that the heart has chambers. So I will also draw the chambers of the heart over here. And this chamber has a valve that opens this way. This is the upper chamber. And then again, we have this. And over here, there is another valve that opens up here. And then we have over here a valve opens up here. And then we have another one here. And another valve opens up here. All right, so this is a simplified in a way to draw the heart. And so you look over here, what you start looking at. Now I'm going to use the blue. That means from here, the blood flows in here. And the blood that flows in here is the blood that's coming from the lower part of the body, is going to the heart through what we call the vein, a special vein that is known as vena cava. So this one is down, which we call it the inferior vena cava. This is inferior vena cava. And this inferior vena cava is bringing the blood that is deoxygenated or oxygenated, the oxygenated blood or the oxygen deficient blood. So it's supplying the blood that is deficient in oxygen. Again, we have another one bringing blood from the upper part of the body to the heart. And this one is what we call superior vena cava. So this one is bringing the blood from the upper part of the body, from the head region to the neck, through the neck, back to the heart. So the blood is getting supplied over here. All of this rushing to this chamber. And we call this atrium. But this is called the right atrium. Right atrium. And of course, this one is called the left atrium. Sorry, this is left ventricle. This is the left ventricle. This is the right ventricle. Oh, not confusing. Right ventricle and right atrium. We could call this one atrium or auricle. Okay? So it depends on which textbook you're looking at. Over here, we see that the blood flows through to this place. And so when the blood flows through this place, it fills up. Okay. And then it's expected that it's going to go through the valve. And this valve is called the, I'll just label it this way. So this valve is called arterioventricular valve, or what we call AV valve. It opens up to the ventricle. It's a valve that connects the atrium with the ventricle. We call it atrioventricular valve. So the blood gets supplied. Fill up here, the pressure opens up, down here, and then it's expected that blood will flow out. So the blood flows out to what we call the pulmonary. Now, good thing about this pulmonary is that I might decide to extend it up here and draw it this way. That means that it goes to both the right and the left lung. So the blood gets supplied to the right and the left lung through what we call the pulmonary. Artery. So the pulmonary artery supplies the blood to the left and the right lung. And again, what happens there? So when the oxygen deficient blood is supplied to the lung, what's going to happen there? Gas exchange. So the deoxygenated blood carries carbon dioxide, and once the carbon dioxide gets to the lung, in the alveoli of the lung, there's going to be a diffusion. And so carbon dioxide diffuses out and is exhaled, and then inhaled oxygen gets picked up, okay, by the blood cell, okay, and it becomes oxygenated. We talk about which one picks it, and then how is it picked? The red blood cell. We have the hemoglobin, a pigment that picks that blood. But again, we know that the oxygenated blood returns to the heart, and so we depict the oxygenated blood with red. So that means it comes through to this place. This is the oxygen-rich blood going through to the left atrium via what we call pulmonary vein. So the pulmonary vein transport what we call oxygen-rich blood. Okay, to the what? To the left atrium. So we label this one left atrium. And so once the blood fills up here, it goes through a valve that connects the atrium with the ventricle. And this valve is known as mitral valve. A mitral valve. And so, once the pressure of contraction and relaxation, which basically we call diastolic and systolic, the blood pressure comes over here and fills up here. It's going to fill the left ventricle. And once this place fills up, you will guess as much that the pressure is going to pump. The blood will be pumped out through this valve, and then the blood goes to the aorta, and then the one that needs to come through this lower part of the body will flow down, and then this one feeds the neck and the head region, or this is what we call the aorta. The aorta is actually the largest artery of the body. So this is what happens over here. But very important is that there is a blood vessel or a valve that I refused to mention earlier because I want to connect the both of them. So you see this valve and this valve, the both of them can be called the semilunar valve. Semilunar valves. So, in a nutshell, this diagram showcases to us the circulatory system that involves the pulmonary circulation, because the blood, which is oxygen deficient, flows through here and get pumped out to the pulmonary artery. And then when it picks up oxygen and drops carbon dioxide, it returns here as a freshened, I would call it, blood that's carrying enough oxygen, returning to the left heart through the atrium. It goes through to the ventricle, and by the pumping of the heart, it exits the heart through the aorta, feeding the entire body. So over here, we've been able to summarize how blood is pumped around the body. But what's the main idea is that when the blood is pumped from the left heart via the aorta, it feeds the entire head region and the neck and entire body, making sure that oxygen is supplied to the entire tissues and the cells for the purpose of cellular respiration, to provide a breaking down of glucose so that energy as ATP will be supplied to the cells. And again, the byproduct will now get back to the right heart where carbon dioxide is being picked up as a byproduct, and this blood is deficient in oxygen. It comes through the heart from what we call the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. All of them empty here into what we call the right atrium. And then once it fills up, the pressure opens up what we call the atrioventricular valve, and it gets to the ventricle. A pressure pushes it to the pulmonary artery, where it goes to the lung to go through what we call diffusion, so that oxygen gets diffused into the blood cell, and then carbon dioxide diffused into the alveoli, and it gets exhaled outside. So this is both pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation that's just carried out by such a fantastic machine, which is called the heart. Remember, it's divided into two through what we call septum, to make sure that oxygenated and deoxygenated blood never meets at all. Again, remember that it's made up of 4 chambers. The upper chamber, which is the atrium of the right and the left, and the lower chamber, which is the ventricle of the right and the lung. And remember, this place is thicker than this, because the left heart, tilted over there, is where the aorta is situated. Remember, blood pumped from the heart to feed the entire body should have much pressure, and because of that, muscles that are thicker might be required to get that pressure pumped, compared to the right heart, which only pumps the blood to the lung, which is quite close in proximity to the heart. And that's the reason why you see that the heart muscle over here is thicker than this one. I do hope that this lesson helps you to really look at the entire system, circulatory system, being pumped by the heart. It's a very simple drawing. You'll be able to connect the dots. That might make it very simple and easy, especially when you're preparing for your exams. This is a lesson. Once more, please, if you like this video, subscribe, the subscribe button, so that more videos will be made for you. Definitely, it's going to help. Appreciate it. Thank you.